Hi there. Welcome to Movie Review Mom. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a specific film. So the specific film I'm reviewing today is called The Lost King. And I'm excited to tell you about it because I think this is going to fly under the radar for a lot of people. This dramatic movie is now available to stream online. The movie is rated PG and it's an hour and 48 minutes. And my movie review mom grade is a B. Now, I don't know of any other film critics that give you their score at the beginning of the review. So don't click away. Keep watching so I can explain why I gave it the grade that I did. So I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, funny lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also enjoy. All right, so in a nutshell, I remember hearing about this remarkable story in the news a few years ago. I love movies that are based on true stories about people with an incredible passion for something, overcoming all odds and succeeding in their endeavors. So in 2012, having been lost for over 500 years, the remains of King Richard III were discovered beneath a car park in Leicester, England. The search had been orchestrated by an amateur historian, Philippa Langley, whose unrelenting research had been met with incomprehension by her friends and family and with skepticism by experts and academics. So The Lost King is the life-affirming true story, her story of history, who refused to be ignored and who took on the country's most eminent historians, forcing them to think again about one of the most controversial kings in England's history. So there were plenty of things I really liked about this movie. First of all, Sally Hawkins. She does an excellent job representing an awkward, nervous, yet tenacious woman whose passion for the truth led to this astonishing discovery. She really sinks her teeth into this role. I also always get a kick out of seeing Steve Coogan. For some reason, I just really like the guy. The musical score added intrigue at times, triumph at times, and an appropriate exclamation mark to this fascinating discovery of King Richard III's life and death. At the end of the movie, we get to read screen cards that tell us a little bit about what happened after the scenes we see in the film. The real Philippa Langley, I know I'm saying her name weird, Philippa. We just don't have that in America. Philippa. Anyway, she actually got the real one, got to appear in the movie. You can see her sitting in the choir during the reburial scene of Richard III. She's the blonde with long hair in this scene, seated in the choir seats. I loved the use of a physical apparition of King Richard III because that's exactly how Philippa saw him, as a real king and a real person. Now, during the movie, you're wondering, is she hallucinating? Is she really crazy? What's actually going on? And of course, the movie takes some liberties with all of that. I'd like to know if she really did have apparitions and see him. I don't know. There were some things I didn't like or just thought could have been done better. For example, some Americans might find the British and Scottish accents to be a little bit hard to understand at times. So turn on those captions if that helps. I actually do that quite often. The film is a bit slow moving. There is still controversy about who actually played a larger role in the discovery of King Richard's remains. Was it Philippa Langley or the University of Leicester? Now, Americans would read that Leicester, but it's pronounced Leicester. Like Worcestershire sauce, that's how we Americans pronounce that. And it's actually called Worcester. Actually, I don't even know, something like that. I've been to the UK many times and I say it wrong every time. Anyway, the movie definitely shows some negative insights as far as how the academics treated her and then took full credit for it. And so that just stinks. In fact, after or during the filming of this, they did some interviews on TV so that some of the actors could explain the reality of how the university didn't treat her well and how that is a true element of this story. But anyway, some of the facts of the true story have been stretched a little bit. The university will probably say that's the case as well. The tone of the film just needs energy. Ultimately, the story plods along. Now, it's interesting enough, and I wanted to see it through the end, but some people may not have the patience to sit through the end. So keep going because it's interesting. However, it does have a very slow, methodical pacing to it. Let me give you some tips for parents. I think some kids are just going to be a little bit bored. It's a bunch of adults talking about a dead king, and they're not going to find relevance unless they live in the UK, and they might actually be interested. Now, Americans should take interest in it because it is a super fascinating story. There is talk of a divorce, but otherwise there's not a bunch of profanity or inappropriate content. So it would be okay for family viewing if the kids can, handle it. Some of the themes that are illustrated well are being judged unfairly in life and never being able to show one's true potential. Now, this absolutely applies to King Richard III, but it also applies to this woman who is, in a job she doesn't really enjoy and has a failed marriage and is just not happy in her life overall and knows that there's more and wants to feel that passion and spark for something again. Other themes are persistence and tenacity. She absolutely represents those, and so does King Richard III, the little bit that we learn about him in this movie. Of course, we learn about British history, critical thinking skills, emotions versus facts, gut feelings, legacy, Shakespeare, underdogs, and standing up for yourself. Again, referring to King Richard III and to this woman. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines so that you can kind of get a taste and feel for the movie. However, I didn't write down any funny lines. This is definitely not a comedy, more of a serious, dramatic movie. But there are some interesting lines that I'll share with you. I have them all in my written review at moviereviewmom.com. So Philippa Langley, again played by the fantastic Sally Hawkins, said, "I just don't like it when people put others down for no reason." And she really believes that King Richard III was put down partly based on Shakespeare, but also partly based on the other royals who killed him, supposedly, and kicked him out of office so they would like the people would like them more than Richard III. And she believed that he was a good man. Now, this woman does have her ex-husband in the picture because he helps raise these two kids. And one of the youngest kids says to his dad, he says, "Dad, Mom talks to herself," because he sees her looking out the window having this imaginary conversation with King Richard III. And the dad, played by Steve Coogan, says very lovingly and kindly, "Well, we all do." And I thought that that was really sweet. And again, partly because the audience doesn't know if she is mentally stable or what's happening. We enjoy these interactions with King Richard III, but we're not sure if she's making all this up or we're actually seeing these things. Anyway, no spoilers. I'll let you watch the movie. All right, so immediately I thought of a few other movies that I wanted to tell you about. The first one is called King Richard. Now, it's not about King Richard III, but it is based on a true story and about a man who believed in a mission and believed fiercely in his family, specifically his daughter's talent playing tennis. Anyway, I'll load up that video or that movie review after this one so you can watch that. And then another one, which is about British history, is called The Favorite. Now, it's definitely a rated R movie and not one that's appropriate for kids to watch because we learn about some intimate relationships that a Queen of England had that are surprising and controversial, and things are shown on the film. However, it is played beautifully by some wonderful female actresses. So check out that one. And then just another really great movie that is also based on a true story that shows persistence and tenacity is called The Woman in Gold, starring Helen Mirren, who is just such a treasure, and Ryan Reynolds in a more of a dramatic role. So check that movie out as well. I think you'll really enjoy all of those. All right, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I hope this review helps you to decide if you want to watch this movie or not, or be prepared for it if you are, without spoilers. Thank you for your support. When you get a minute, run over to Instagram and you can follow me at Movie Review Mom, of course, but also at Trina Boice, where I talk more about the books that I've written, my online courses that I've created, and my daily podcast. So thank you so much. Again, I say that a million times, but I really do mean it. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.